Hey there guys, welcome to the next tutorial here on the channel and welcome to the third day of bow week. In the past 2 days, the past two tutorials, I've been showing you guys how to make kind of bows by double siding strips and then folding them several times to kind of give a cool ruffled appearance. Well, in this video I'm actually going to show you guys how to make a slightly different kind of bow, which just involves a whole bunch of single pieces folded once. And the main reason why we do this is it allows us to kind of bring out a lot more different colors of strips into our bow. It allows us to really, add a lot more color to it, kind of like the maximum amount of color as possible. So let's get started here on the tutorial. So for this video I'm going to be using two different kinds of duct tape, the blue surf and the pink with white polka dots, and I'm just going to be using just the two colors, but you can of course make as many colors as you want to. You're also going to need kind of like a small hairband like this. They also make them a lot smaller, it's just like a lot thinner than this, but as long as you have a decent sized hairband, that's what we're going to be using as our base for making a whole bunch of these different kind of bows. So let's get started here. So for my first step, I'm going to cut out 6 pieces of tape that are 3 inches long each, and if you're making a bow that has 5 segments to it, we're going to be needing, of course, those 5 segments. Every time we stick one of these together, we're going to be cutting that in half, and that's going to be 2 segments there. So I only need 2 segments of the pink here. I do need 3 of the blue surf, so I need to cut out an extra pair here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about in just a second. So first thing I'm going to do is start sticking my strips together. And nothing new here. This is kind of what we've been doing for the past 2 days on the channel, just working with the bows before and just sticking them together. A little bit of thunder in the background there, having a little bit of a thunderstorm right now. So sticking these two together just like that. We'll do any trimming with a pair of scissors to make sure there's no sticky parts or sticky sides showing. Then I'm going to take my 2 pink strips and stick those together just like this. From there, what I'm going to do is take a pen and I'm going to mark directly in the center of each of these 3 pieces. So I'm going to use my cutting mat for this and just mark right in the center here for all 3. And then what I'm going to do is take my ruler and my hobby knife, or you could also use a pair of scissors, but if I want this line to be exactly the same, or exactly straight across, I'm going to take my hobby knife and I'm simply going to cut through both of these pieces of tape. I'm going to do that for these other 2 as well. Once you have your strips cut in half, I'm going to put this one aside because I don't actually need that one. I'm going to take all of my pieces and I'm simply going to just crease them in half just like this. Once you get each one on a good crease, you're just going to move right along to the next one until you have all 5 of them creased down in exactly the same way. So do that step right now. Once they all have a good crease, I'm going to start aligning them together, and of course I want the blue surf on the outside, the pink with white polka dot on the inside. So arranging all of these just like that. And we don't need to worry about lining them up too much at this point. We'll do that in just a second once we get all of them together. So I'm going to make sure those are all lined up. Looks pretty good. Then I'm going to cut out a small 1/4 inch long piece, and that's the natural length, the natural height of the tape right there. And then I'm going to very carefully stick this directly in the center of this piece here. If you don't get it on the first try, you can kind of just keep lining it up until you get it. Looks good right about there. So I'm going to wrap this all the way around, and then just like that. And there we go. Now at this point you can just fan them out a little bit. It usually doesn't take too much to fan these out, but you can kind of just keep moving it with your fingers to kind of just get it to look a little bit more like a bow. So once you get it to a perfect degree like that, or a perfect image, we're going to start putting the thing on the back. So next thing I'm going to do is just cut out a small 3-inch strip. I'm going to cut out a small segment out of that piece, and I'm going to use this as my back part, or that's going to connect to the hair bow. So I'm going to stick that in half just like this, fold that over on itself. Then I'm going to take another small strip here. I'm going to flip our bow over, align it just like this. It's very similar to the bow ring that we made yesterday, except this isn't going to be actually wrapped around our finger or anything like that. It's going to be wrapped around the hair band instead, or the headband. So sticking that down. And now what I'm going to do is wrap this around the hairband. That'll be next. So we're going to stick it onto the hairband here. Just hold it right there. Come to the other side, and this will kind of depend on how big your hairband is, but this strip I added to the back is definitely big enough to be wrapped all the way around, and then you can just apply them right to the center there. And there you have it. So one of the things I like to do with these bows is actually make them in a whole bunch of different sizes because they're really simple to make. So here's another headband that I made using the electric blue and the Union Jack tape. I cut out one that's the normal size, which is 3 inches here for 3-inch long strips. Then I cut out and made a bow that was 2.5 inches long, and that's this one down here and this one. Then I made it into 2 inches, and then 2 inches over here, and then 1.5 inches, and I just kind of got smaller all the way around here, which is kind of cool. They're really simple to make out of different sizes. All you have to do, like I said, is just cut the strips smaller, and then you'll just make a whole bunch of different sized bows, which is really cool. So hopefully you guys liked the tutorial on making these different kind of bows and putting them on to a headband here, and I'll catch you guys next time on the channel, which will be tomorrow for another tutorial in Bow Week here. With this video, we are over halfway through Bow Week, so pretty excited to wrap up the next 2 days, and I'll catch you on the channel tomorrow.